Morning everybody, how are y'all doing today? I'm doing great because I'm finally back from vacation. Went to the beach for a couple days, it was pretty fun. But unfortunately, before I left, I was not able to get this video out. So you guys are getting it now, better late than never, I guess. And this video is of course about DreamcastGuy claiming nobody is hyped for Starfield because the Starfield trailers have less views than the SpiderMan 2 trailers. Or I guess they have fewer views, I don't know. Mom, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. But yeah, one last thing I want to mention before we get into this. Apologies if my voice sounds a little hoarse, a little scratchy, whatever you want to say. I don't know what happened, but I don't care. I am getting this video out. Oh, and also, don't worry. I'm not going to make you watch DreamcastGuy sponsorship. Though I probably will use that in the thumbnail because, well, it's funny. So yeah, anyway, with all that being said, let's go ahead and get right into this.
Can I ask a question without being canceled? Can we actually discuss the idea of Starfield and how nobody's talking about it? If you look, it's never trending on social media. There's no viral posts about how good the game looks. The trailers themselves are not really getting that many views. It doesn't feel like Microsoft is really pushing this game at all. And to be honest, I'm very confused by this.
I mean, saying I'm very confused by this is a great way for me to describe your video. How can you say, oh, the trailers aren't getting many views? Each Starfield trailer on Bethesda's channel has millions of views, including those little short animated ones. How is that getting no views? And on top of that, yes, I understand that this video is a little over a week old, so I'll have to keep that in mind throughout this video. But even before DreamcastGuy released his video, and even after all the hype from the showcase had died down, people were still making videos and tweets about Starfield. It's just they weren't mega viral because guess what? The showcase had already passed and people had already put in their pre-orders. So at this point, what else is there really to do besides wait? Besides the animated trailers that they released, what else could they really do at this point? And I mean, we gotta keep the same energy with Spider-Man 2. Outside of the story trailer from almost a month ago, I don't think we've seen anything from PlayStation about it ever since, well, the story trailer and also the limited edition console, but those both came out at pretty much the same time. But whatever, I'm not trying to waste all my arguments right now, so let's go ahead and skip past this sponsorship and get into the actual video.
Now, the inspiration for this entire topic, this rant of sorts, is this tweet I saw from Legacy Killer HD about the fact that Skyrim is releasing in now technically less than 1 month. I'm recording this on the 3rd, and it actually is coming out on September 1st if you get the special ultimate expensive $100 edition. And it's kind of confusing to me because once I saw this tweet, I completely forgot that Starfield is about to come out. Like,
how though? He said in the intro, I cut this part out because it was leading into the sponsorship, but he said in the intro that he's a massive Bethesda fan. Yet conveniently, he forgets about the game that's an Xbox exclusive. And it's very ironic and hilarious to me that he's saying, oh, nobody's talking about Starfield. And then his first argument of the video is him showing a tweet of somebody talking about Starfield launching in a month. So clearly people are talking about the game and haven't forgotten about it like you did. Although then again, it would be very easy for you to forget about it considering you rage quit the showcase before it even ended. Like, dude, just admit that you don't want to be excited for this game. You're probably actively choosing to forget about it because he claimed he was a massive Bethesda fan in the intro, but then somehow he has no hype for this game. He rage quits in the middle of the showcase. He says it's gonna be the next Redfall, but just wait, this is only gonna get better when we get to the part where he talks about the views that the trailers are getting.
it is insane to me because this is maybe the biggest Xbox game ever. Like, it feels like a lot is riding on this because it's been so long since there's been a good Xbox game. Like, we had Hi-Fi Rush, a good like AA title, but before that, literally, I'm racking my brain. What is the last Xbox game that got high review scores and wasn't just Forza?
I love that immediate goalpost shifting. When was the last time an Xbox game got high review scores? Oh, but it can't be Forza. Well, besides Hi-Fi Rush, like you already mentioned, Halo Infinite actually got high review scores. Now, obviously, I don't think I really need to talk about how lacking in content that game was, at least when it initially came out and for the few months following. But he asked for a game that got high review scores. Halo Infinite got like an 87. I'm looking back, Grounded got an 82. Nothing insane, but still noteworthy. So there you go. Xbox can in fact fact get at least decent review scores without Forza.
I'm legitimately trying to think. I legitimately can't think of anything, and that's not being a hater. I'm a games journalist. I play games all day long. I mean, I'm constantly staying up till like 2 a.m. playing freaking Path of Exile and Diablo. And Diablo's now technically an Xbox game, right? Well, it will be soon once the Activision deal is done. But what's interesting is that a lot of the replies to this are just so negative. This one's positive. I'm quitting my job so I can dedicate my life to Starfield. So obviously a bit of a memer, but that's definitely some good positivity. The graphics, gameplay, and combat look awful, horrible, and terrible. And 30 frames a second.
Wow, dude, there's so many comments hating on the game. One guy who said the graphics and gameplay looked bad, and you can tell just based off the number of replies that he's probably getting ratioed. Also, I took a look at this dude's Twitter account, and almost all of it is just him retweeting stuff about Modern Warfare 3. So I don't think we need to take his opinion too seriously. If he's crapping on the graphics and gunplay of Starfield, but he's a Call of Duty guy, then clearly Starfield is not his forte. And let me just be clear, I'm not throwing shade at you if you're excited for Modern Warfare 3, but I do have to question your mental state a little bit. But whatever, that's a whole different topic for a completely different video.
Obviously, the 30 FPS conversation is still persisting. The fact that it's 30 FPS on consoles, and now we know it will only be 30 FPS forever. The developers have said there is no way to patch it, that it'll be 60 FPS on, PC. So I'm playing it on PC. I'm definitely playing it on PC Game Pass.
Yo, I'm gonna start calling DreamcastGuy BasedCastGuy. I'm kidding, he's still a pwn.
If the game was multi-platform, everyone would be hyped and excited. Because it's an Xbox exclusive, the usual suspects are making up BS to this word right here. I had to look it up. It's basically they're saying they're trying to create fear, uncertainty, and despair. Basically, they're trying to make sure that it's a negative story at all times. Now, what's interesting is that I'm not even seeing that. I'm not even seeing hate posts about Starfield.
Ironic considering you're making one right now, but anyway, clearly you are just ignoring the PlayStation fanboy side of Twitter. J-Dub especially is constantly dunking on Starfield for no reason other than it's Xbox exclusive. And it's hilarious that he read off, oh, the usual suspects are making hate posts. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy was referring to DreamcastGuy as one of the people who was the usual suspects. Now, as to whether there's general media bias towards Sony or not, I'm not going to get into that argument. But what I am going to say is that DreamcastGuy, if you're saying that you haven't seen any hate posts around Starfield, you're either a liar or you're ignorant. Hell, even recently, because Baldur's Gate 3 just came out, I saw PlayStation fanboys making posts about how Baldur's Gate 3 is already doing better than Starfield, even though Starfield isn't even out yet. It's so funny that the people who hate Xbox the most are the ones who talk about them the most. Then again, that's how fanboys operate. They spend more time talking about the opposing side than their own side.
I don't see anybody talking about Starfield at all. And to me, that's the insanity of it. Like, even actually just look at the fact that, okay, so here's the official gameplay trailer. It came out 1 month ago. It has 2 million views. Here's the Spider-Man 2 trailer that came out 13 days ago and has 12 million views. The gameplay reveal has 14 million views. This is just crazy. The amount of hype for Spider-Man compared to Starfield. Now, obviously, that's not a very fair comparison. Starfield is a very tiny brand compared to the massiveness of Spider-Man.
Oh my god, there's so much to unpack. You cannot make this up. First of all, I love how he completely ignores the Starfield announcement trailer, which has 18 million views. Second of all, I love that he goes through all that effort to show how much more hype Spider-Man has than Starfield, and then admits, oh, Spider-Man is an established IP. He's one of the best-known superheroes ever. He's already had a game made about him which did incredibly well, so naturally there's a lot of hype going into the sequel. Meanwhile, you have Starfield, which is a brand new IP coming from a studio which has had a lot of misses recently. Like, it's not a fair comparison at all. Who would have guessed the sequel to one of the most beloved PlayStation games ever, about one of the most popular superheroes ever, is gonna have more views and more attention than the brand new Bethesda IP? PvP. Like, dude, you admitted yourself in this video it's not a fair comparison, so why didn't you just cut that part out? And even then, he ignores the trailer that has 18 million views for Starfield. But please, tell me how millions of views on each trailer means nobody's excited for Starfield. You know, it's a very common occurrence or mindset, I guess, with the ponies. Where, have you guys ever seen the movie Talladega Nights? The movie's basically about a NASCAR driver by the name of Ricky Bobby. And if memory serves me correctly, his dad had a catchphrase that said, "If you ain't first, you're last." Ricky Bobby then adopted this into his NASCAR career. And it's like a super inspirational quote, whatever. Ponies take this to the most literal form, and if you're not first place in terms of hardware sales, in terms of views on YouTube, whatever it may be, you are last place and you have failed. Oh, what's that? You don't have as many views as the Spider-Man trailers? Failure. Nobody's talking about you.
Debatably the biggest Marvel character of all time, but it is weird that even recently, they released all these like little Starfield shorts. They have them over here on the right side here. These are like these little tiny, I'm gonna like click through it here. They're these little short 2-minute cutscene things that kind of set the mood for what Starfield is gonna be like. But here's the weirdness. As great as this stuff is, even this has almost no views. Nobody is discussing it whatsoever. And
I love how the browser is cropped just enough so you can't see the fact that the trailer has 2 million views. Dude, even these little animated shorts that, as far as I know, had like no lead up to them whatsoever, they're still getting millions of views. But apparently that's no views to you. Again, it's this whole if you ain't first, you're last mentality. If you're not in PlayStation's position, then you're getting no views and nobody is hyped for your game whatsoever. How can you unironically make videos like this and still say you're not a Sony pony? Come on, dude, just give it up. Nobody is falling for that crap.
I guess I'm also curious because is the game even finished? The game is coming out in less than 30 days and we haven't gotten an announcement that it's gone gold. Not to make an unfair comparison here, but Final Fantasy 16, which obviously is made by Square Enix, a third-party studio, they went gold 3 months before release. And when it came out, obviously it was in tippy-top shape. It had no bugs, it ran great. They ended up doing a day one patch and a secondary patch to smooth out the very weird motion blur in Final Fantasy 16.
Dude, Final Fantasy 16 ran great. Are you kidding me? The game had to drop as low as 720p just to hit 60 FPS. The performance mode was so bad, people were recommending that you play in quality mode instead. On top of this, I know this didn't happen a whole lot, but are we gonna talk about the fact that people had their consoles overheat because of the game? No, of course we're not going to talk about that because it's a PlayStation exclusive. Look, don't get me wrong, I love my 60 FPS and all. I will sacrifice a lot to get a good frame rate, but as soon as I have to start dipping under 1080p, you know, lines have to be drawn at that point. Now, thankfully I have a 4070, so I don't have to worry about that. But if in 2023 your game has to go below 1080p to hit 60 FPS, that game is not ready to ship. And look, I'm not even saying Final Fantasy 16 is a bad game or anything. I'm just saying it could have used a bit more time in the oven.
But it is strange to me that the developers, the discussion, the entire topic of Starfield feels so heavy and silent. Now, some people are basically saying stuff like this. Here's like a kind of a hater tweet. Starfield won't be playable or shown at Gamescom. Something ain't right about this game. They're hiding it like they did Redfall. We're 28 days from launch and we still can't see it. Well, what would they be hiding?
Oh, this is just incredibly unfortunate. Now, I don't know if DreamcastGuy posted and made this video before or after the news, but this video was uploaded the day it was announced that Starfield would be appearing at Gamescom. Now, it will not be playable for the public, which is unfortunate, but it will still be there. So that tweet aged incredibly poorly. And what is with all these dudes, including DreamcastGuy, and comparing Redfall to Starfield? How are they hiding Starfield? They're being very open about it. They had a whole 45-minute to an hour-long direct dedicated to it, and it'll be at Gamescom. They were very secretive about Redfall, and obviously we figured out why that was the case. But they're handling Starfield completely differently. Then again, according to DreamcastGuy, Starfield is the next Redfall.
But it is weird just how secretive they're being. The only look we've had at Starfield is these couple little trailers. Like this gameplay trailer here, here's 3 minutes of nice gameplay. I'm not even saying this as a hater. It's just weird to me that this is all the gameplay we have.
What about the 45-minute direct that you rage quit? And yes, look, I understand he's about to put up a little text thing on the screen that says, oh, there was also the direct. But how do you forget to mention that? And by this logic, Sony is being very secretive about Spider-Man 2 because we only have 10 minutes of gameplay and one story trailer. But will DreamcastGuy make a video talking about that? I'm gonna guess no. It's actually crazy. They do this whole direct. They have a bunch of animated shorts and stuff. We have a little dry spell before Gamescom, and during that dry spell, all the ponies are talking about is not Spider-Man, but rather, oh no, look at Starfield, nobody's talking about it, there's no marketing for it. And speaking of Gamescom, Sony will not be appearing there to show off Spider-Man 2. So yes, it does suck that Starfield won't have a playable demo, but at least they're gonna show up. Isn't this like the 3rd year in a row Sony is skipping out? But yet nobody will call that out. I wonder why.
One of my very best friends who actually works in the game industry, she makes like educational games and stuff. She is a big gamer. She and I play games almost every single day, literally. She did not know that this exists. She had not heard that Starfield existed, and she has like 400 hours in Skyrim. If Bethesda fans that actually game don't know about Starfield, what's happening?
Well, it sounds like your friend is really just not paying attention. That's what's happening. Because I'm pretty sure every Bethesda fan and their mother knew about this game, and they knew about the direct from Xbox. If your friend did not know about this, then she is probably just not paying attention. That's really the only explanation I can think of. And I mean, you said she does a lot of educational stuff, so who knows? Maybe she just didn't have time to hear about this? I don't know, but just because your one friend didn't know about this doesn't mean nobody is hyped. That's like saying because I didn't buy a Spider-Man 2 PS5, that means nobody bought one. Like, that's just such a stupid argument.
Something I said on Twitter that some people were kind of upset about it, you know, the usual Xbox people were raging at me, is I said, Microsoft should be pushing this. Across the board, Microsoft should be screaming from the rooftops about Starfield. If it's good, let's talk about it. Show it off. Do big teases. Do celebrity engagements. Do an early live stream with freaking big, huge sports people and stuff so you actually get those normies attention to it. If it's great, sell some Xboxes. Boost your Game Pass subscription numbers. Shout it from the freaking rooftops.
Look, obviously there is more they could be doing to market the game, but are you really advocating for Microsoft to pay shills? I gave PlayStation crap in a community post when they announced this new program where they were paying shills or whatever, and I'm gonna keep that same energy for Xbox. Paying shills is not the way you should market your game, at least in my opinion. To me, it makes it look like the game cannot stand on its own 2 legs without somebody who's really famous constantly talking about how great it is. Now, would it be cool if Xbox put Starfield on some buses or something? Yes, I think that would be cool. But I don't think paying LeBron James or somebody like that to play the game on stream is the way to go. Actually, though, after doing a bit of research, I am finding people are seeing Starfield on buses in the UK. Samsung is doing commercials with Starfield. In fact, the more research I do into this, the more I'm wondering where this complaint is coming from. Then again, the fanboys will always complain about the opposite side, so what am I expecting?
Sony isn't afraid to do that. Nintendo's not afraid to do that. Third-party studios aren't afraid to do that. Rockstar Games isn't afraid to do that. Like, everybody else. Ubisoft, freaking Quantic Dream, every other studio, when they have a good game, will tell you. They will show you. They will just straight up say, hey, here is the game of the year. But there's nothing from Xbox.
You know, besides a 45-minute direct, Gamescom, multiple animated shorts that get you more invested with the lore of the universe, collabs with Samsung and advertisements on buses. But yeah, you're right, there's absolutely nothing. But really quickly before we end this video, DreamcastGuy actually specifically requested that anybody who clips this video clip this one specific part. So let's go ahead and clip it real quick.
Look, I'm gonna say this straight up. People sometimes clip my videos. Clip this. Are you ready? Here we go. I want Starfield to be good, but I'm afraid it's not. I am afraid that Starfield is going to launch incredibly buggy, incredibly raw, incredibly in need of another 2 or 3 months of patches and updates. But if Starfield is great, I will take the L.
Alrighty, you guys heard that. He said himself he will take the L if Starfield ends up being a good game. Now, I'm not going to sit here and deny his claims that, oh, it's going to be buggy or whatever, because it's Bethesda. Who knows what's going to happen? But you claiming that you want Starfield to be good, that is a lie, my guy. And you know it. If you wanted Starfield to be good, you wouldn't have rage quit in the middle of the direct and nitpicked every little thing about it. It's very obvious that you don't want the game to be good. But hey, how about this? If the game is good when it comes out and you admit it, then I will take that L. But if the game is good when it comes out and you're dunking on it and nitpicking every little thing about it, then I will be ripping and tearing. Can we agree on that? All right, cool. But yeah, anyway, guys, with all that being said, that's going to do it for this video. Really quickly before I go, I want to apologize for the severe lack of uploads this month. There has just not been a lot to talk about, and, you know, I was on vacation for the last 4 days. But I'm going to try my absolute best to keep content coming out without making it, like, really shallow or too much of a reach or anything like that. If it gets super bad, we might have to transition into some different types of content where maybe I'll talk about how shameless Modern Warfare 3 is and how it's literally just a $70 DLC for MW2, and that's why all your stuff will carry over between the games. But we'll figure that out at a later time. For now, I just want to say thank you all so much for watching. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will catch you all next time.